Brian Snitker, after winning the World Series championship with the Braves a few years back. Brian Snitker hired by the Braves 1980. Bobby Cox was in his third year as the manager of the Braves. He had two stints. He was with the Blue Jays in between. Brian Snitker, third base coach under Bobby Cox for a number of years, also a longtime minor league manager in the Bobby Cox era. Brian Snitker joins us now. Brian, it's Brian Kenny. Thanks for joining us today. Just if you could give us your thoughts on Bobby Cox again after his passing and your thoughts on him as a life in baseball.
No, it's been a couple of rough days, I'll tell you. He wasn't doing great, so it wasn't a surprise, but still, I mean, the man had such an impact on so many people. He reached out. I've had a lot of calls, a lot of emails, texts. I mean, we all say the same thing, how he affected our lives, not only in baseball, but as we were young men growing up, just had an unbelievable impact on so many people.
Brian, how would you characterize his style exactly? Because he seems low key, yet clearly getting tossed out as often as he did. There's a certain volatility there. How would you characterize his style?
His style he was consistent. He was patient. Just a strong leader. I mean, and Bobby didn't have to raise his voice to us, or the players. I mean, he went out and he backed his players, and that was part of it. That was, I think, a big key to getting guys and why they loved him so much. But he was just such a consistent, patient leader. And it's hard to be in this sport. And I know I would sit there as a third base coach, and I'd be on his left side every day, every night. And I would react to situations, and he'd look at me like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing." I mean, guy give up an 0-2 grand slam, and I'm raising hell, and he just sitting there, just calm as could be. And but that was him. I mean, it's like he'd been through everything. He touched so many of us. I had a call early this morning with one of our former coaches, and we're all disciples of Bobby. And he touched so many people. And it was more than just the X's and O's of the baseball game and how he ran a game and all that. And he was always 3 innings ahead of the other manager on the other side. But it was about the man and how he just how consistent he was. He came to the ballpark every day, the same guy. You could never tell when Bobby walked through the door if we had lost 10 or won 10, because everything every day. And that's the way his teams were like that. And it's, things that as a major league manager that I tried to do too. And hopefully I did. And because it's just one of those things when you're with a man like that. I used to go down to the dugout when he did his media and sit with him, because I was always curious. And you know what? You could say anything you want. He loved that time of day. And he loved going down there, and he would get his cigar. He would go in there, and every grounds crew guy in the league would come over and talk to him. And he had an unbelievable way of making everybody feel like they were the most important person in the room. It was just God blessed him with that gift. And I was blessed to be his third base coach his last 4 years. I spent a lot of time with him. This hurts. When we lost him, we knew this day was coming. I was fortunate. I saw him last week, and pretty much I went over and told him goodbye for the 5th time. I remember prior to that, I kissed him 4 times and told him I loved him. And I remember the first time I went to Philadelphia to start a playoff series. I did the same thing this year before I went to spring training. And when I came back, he was doing better than he was when I left. So it was a sad day. The world lost a great man, not only baseball man, but a great man, a great father, a great, his grandkids loved him, children. It's more about the man than just a baseball person, in my opinion.
Well, that's well put, Brian. I mean, so many things there, but you're right. You never know when it's the last time you're going to see somebody, and you had a few years at least to say goodbye. Right. Do you recall, we ran a clip there after you won the World Series, led the Braves to a World Series championship. Do you remember what the conversation was like when you got to talk to Bobby about, again, reaching the pinnacle?
Even back then in 21, he still, was hard to communicate. You could tell, I mean, his actions, and he knew everything you were saying. And I remember the day I went over and Alex and I took the trophy over. And I remember the day, we took pictures, and Skyla and Josh and their grandkids were there, and Pam, and we took pictures. And I remember taking his ring over.
Brian Snitker, again, great having him on. You could hear from exactly what he was saying there at the very end, being able to give him a World Series championship ring. And we just wanted to pay proper respect to the man Bobby Cox. We lost him over the weekend. Our thanks to Brian Snitker for joining us here.